Not much. Can you hear me all right? Or
I can, yeah. Can you hear me?
yeah, yep.
Okay. Yeah, we're good to go then. Awesome. So first off, did you go for a walk or run this week?
Yeah, I actually did.
Awesome.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
good. Good.
Yep. Definitely felt good.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a friend that I've just been texting back and forth about it. We've both been kind of pushing each other. And I realized this morning it's pretty much a habit at this point. I've been going for maybe 6 weeks, 2 months, something
yeah.
like that. And it's pretty much just like get up and go every morning. I don't even think about it anymore, which is nice because it took long to get that way.
Yeah, that's kind of the key for me. Like when I was doing it, for a short while before,
Yeah.
that was the thing I had. Yeah, just get up and do it. Because if I go and they say, all right, I'm gonna do this and that and do it later, then I never get
Yeah.
around to it later.
Exactly. Yeah, if you get up, check Facebook, you're done. You're not coming back.
Yeah, yeah.
I know the feeling. All right, so catch me up on the dog stuff.
So before I talk about that, I got one issue I'd like to ask you about. Um, I got this one student that started a couple months ago,
Mhm.
and he he's only showed up a few times.
Oh yeah, yeah. You told me about this guy. Yeah,
Yeah, and matter of fact, I think the very first time that he was supposed to show up for our initial meeting, he canceled that. And we had to reschedule that. So and then when he would come in, he's an older guy, probably close to my age, like he's his later 40s and the early 50s,
yeah,
and so he came in, and of course when he was in there, he's talking all big about how yeah he wants to be he's serious, he wants to really get good and everything, but even in those sessions he would just gab and gab and gab, and then this happened a couple times. I don't even know if we had two lessons in a row because he
yeah,
next week he would skip, and then so then this kept happening, and then like a couple weeks would go by, and then I'd say I finally said to him, you got to decide what you want to do. And it's great and wonderful. You're giving me money and everything, but I can't just sit here and take your money, and you're not showing up. And I
yeah,
also I also dealt with talked to him about the issue with talking. Is that it's good to talk a little bit, but you know we got to get some work done. We're not going to get
yeah,
anything if all you're going to do is talk all the time. So we got to really focus.
yeah,
So I think that time he came back, and then he missed the next week, and then I sent another email to him saying, "Hey, this is the last time. You gotta show up. Decide for 100% sure whether you want to do this or not. After this time, we're gonna have to call it quits if you're gonna you're not gonna do this."
yeah,
And magically, it could be true, but at this point, I don't know. Magically, I all of a sudden got a phone call from his wife saying he got heat stroke or something,
yeah,
which could be true. So I just kind of went with it. He came back that next week, and then he was supposed to have a lesson yesterday, and he didn't show up again, didn't bother even calling or anything. So as much as I need the students and need the money, I don't feel right taking money. So I'm kind of just thinking of telling them that, hey, we're gonna have to call this quits, or maybe tell them if he wants to do a lesson, you can call up, and then we can do a lesson by lesson. If whatever available times I have, we can go from week to week. Or
yeah.
what do you think about that? Should I just,
Well, how does he feel about it?
huh?
How does he feel about it?
I haven't said that to the last thing to him yet.
No, I mean just his in general. Like, how's his feeling? Like, does he feel like you're just taking his money? Does he feel like he's getting something out of lessons and he's enjoying it? What's his just overall take on the situation? Because I know how you feel about it.
Um, he doesn't say. I just he like I said, out of maybe 2 months, a little bit over 2 months. I think he may have came here 4 times in total.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, he comes in, and then it's like, okay, yeah, so we gotta, we gotta get started again here because it's been so long. It's been like 2-3 weeks, and so let's get back to figuring out what we're doing. And
Does
then
he enjoy it while he's there?
huh?
Does he enjoy it while he's there?
He seems to, but
With
then
adult students more than kids for sure. I found that a lot of them just like to talk. I've had a few of those where they like to do that, and it depends on you as a teacher. For me, I'm of the mindset of it's your money. If you want to come in and just hang out, and we'll play music for 5 or 10 minutes, and then you want to talk for 20. You're an adult. It's not like it's a kid that just ran off with the conversation.
yeah,
But that's more my personality, and we're a lot more personal, like relationship than music.
yeah,
So it fits in well with who we are as a studio. But if you're just driven on like the music, let's get this focus, let's kind of get your skills up, I can see how that would definitely get in the way of what you're trying to do.
yeah. So that part, yeah, that is kind of a little bit of an issue for me. But the other issue is just not bothering to show up barely
Right.
at all.
Yeah. But what's his take on that? Like, is he like apologetic when he calls? Does he really not seem to bother him because he's paying, right?
Yeah, he pays me $200 a month,
Yeah.
but
Is it like an auto pay thing, or does he like write you a check or something every month for?
yeah, it's on auto pay.
Okay. So I mean, like he knows it's there. He knows it's coming out, and he's coming sometimes. I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation for sure.
Yeah.
You've talked to him a little bit, but you seem like you talked to him more as like how it affected you and what you needed. Like, hey, we really need to do this so we can focus and we can do this. Maybe just kind of talk to him and see where he is with it. Like, hey, look, you're paying, and this is kind of what it looks like on my end. Are you happy with kind of what we're doing right now? Is this what you're looking for? I know you're kind of in and out. Maybe because he might be fine with it. I had one of my students. We've got a Mercedes-Benz plant that's pretty close to where I live.
Yeah.
So one of my students was like the vice president there, like super rich. I've had his kids for a bunch of years too. He decided he wanted to play guitar. Well, like he's the vice president at Mercedes. He's busy. He's got stuff going on all the time. He would come kind of like that. He'd be a few weeks away and then he'd miss one, and then it was that kind of thing where you just never know because he didn't know. But honestly, he never played guitar unless I was in the room with him. So it was a matter of it's worth me paying you this, even if I get half the lessons, just because I know I'm not going to have time to touch it at home.
Yeah.
So it was just like an accountability thing more than anything else. So it might be the same for this guy where he knows, look, if I'm not paying you, I'm just never going to touch the guitar. So I've had those where they have more money than they have time, which is kind of
Yeah.
funny because we're the opposite most times where we got a lot more time than money.
Yeah.
So he was more than happy to kind of exchange his money for my time, knowing that I'd push him, I'd give him something to do. That my personality as I am as a teacher, I'm laid back enough to work with it. I'll work with you when you're here. If you want to do the same lesson 8 times, we'll do the same lesson 8 times. It's your time, it's your money. It gets frustrating after a while. But if the student's cool, like this guy was really cool. I had known him for a few years. He was easy to work with, and he understood the situation. So it depends on you and it depends on him. I think it can work and can be a little awkward. You can send him some video stuff in between, like you've got Teacher Zone and all that stuff set up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could say, hey, look, we can keep this going. And what I'll do is on the weeks that you're not here, I'll just send you a little video so you can be working on stuff at home. And whether he does it or not, at least you feel like you've done something to earn the money.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's the other thing too is, well, a couple things is one of them is that he has been playing for a while and he has some skills and stuff. And, and he says anyways, it's like, oh yeah, I practice an hour, maybe sometimes 2 hours a day. And then of course, then he's just giving me the whole, I'm serious about this and everything. And then I gave him, I told him, okay, I'm going to do your, I keep loading up stuff to Teacher Zone for him. and
Yeah.
he never views any of it.
Yeah.
It's just a little frustrating. And then yeah, he's here a week, then he skips 2 weeks, and often doesn't even bother calling me. That guy gets a little aggravating a little bit,
Yeah.
but yeah, maybe I'll have one more discussion with him, and then yeah, like you said, lay it out and say, hey, that's what you want, and that's what you want, pretty much.
Yeah, it depends on where you are. Like I give him some options because I think he knows how you feel about it at this point. Like you've kind of laid it out for him, and he's still kind of doing the same stuff. So it seems like he is who he is.
Yeah.
And you're in charge. You're the boss, so you always have the ability to say, "Hey, this isn't working for me anymore. I think you'd be a better fit with another teacher that's maybe a little more flexible, something like that." And you can always just cut him loose if that's the case. If you enjoy working with him, then hey, do your thing. Put some videos up on Teacher Zone, and you can even make them kind of generic. Where like, what's his name?
Dave.
So you're not like, hey, Dave, do this, do this. You just don't say his name. And then you can just put it up as a Teacher Zone video of like, hey, so here's an exercise that you can work on that can kind of help you in your skills this way. And just that can be a time where you post videos that you can be building your library, and he's basically paying you to do that.
Yeah.
While, you're still giving him good content. It's better if he's here for sure. But that way, I think you can sleep better at night going, look, when he's here, I give him a lesson. And when he's not, I send him a video of some good content that he can be working on. And if that's fine with him, like if he's never complained to you, like, hey, I need makeups for all these times that I've missed, or can we maybe like pay differently since I'm never here? If he's fine with the arrangement, I think he's fine with it. It's just a matter of if you are or not. But I don't think you're going to change him. I don't think you're going to suddenly get him to come every week. I don't think you're suddenly going to get him to log into Teacher Zone. I don't think you're suddenly going to get him to stop talking through a lot of lessons. It just seems like kind of who he is as a person. So it really comes down to, can you work with that? Do you want to work with that or not? And, I think either way is fine. Like you said, you probably need the money. You need the students right now. Also that limit where you go, look, money's good. Like I got to pay bills. But if it's not working and it's not a good fit, it's just not good. You do better trying to find some other students to stick in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an awkward one for sure, because that's not your ideal situation. Definitely.
No. Yeah, definitely. I struggle with I guess, I don't know, you say the moral dilemma or whatever, sucking out, feel like I'm sucking his money from him. But like,
it feels that way, but he's not paying for a lesson. He's buying your time. So he owns you from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock on Wednesdays or whatever his time is. So he's buying your time.
That is it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good guess. So he totally bought your time during that time period. So you didn't schedule anything else. You didn't schedule any students. You don't have anything else. I mean, it could be the case that you're, just sitting there not doing anything. You could be doing other stuff anyway. But honestly, like you're there, especially if he doesn't call.
Yeah.
He's paid for you to sit there and wait around on him to do that. So I wouldn't feel like super bad about it, except that it's a recurring thing. And if he's fine with it, he's fine with it. We have students that do that all the time. So like with, not all the time, but last semester we probably had 2 or 3 that would either like flake out, because we do a 16-week semester and people pay up front.
Yeah.
So we might have 1 or 2 a semester out of almost 200 that just flake. Like halfway through, they just maybe baseball starts or football starts or something, and they just don't come back.
Yeah.
Shout out to them when we send some stuff, but at the end of the day, I can't book another spot. I can't book another student in that spot for my teacher because you've paid for it.
Yeah.
You're there, so you've kind of got that. So I think it's that mindset of he's not paying for a lesson, he's paying for your time. So as long as you have that time set aside for him, you're living up to your end of the bargain. And I think if you send him a video or put something on Teacher Zone, that's bonus. Like you don't have to. He's not paying you to send him videos. He's paying you to be there and teach him guitar.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that helps with the moral dilemma or not, because I know that feeling of just. I did one set of like online video lessons with a 10-year-old kid a few years ago before I opened the studio, and it was like $50 a month or something like that, $100 a month. I don't remember what it was, but it was basically a video chat back. Not this, but it was I would send a video and then he would practice and he would send a video back to me a few days later, and we just did that because this works for chat, but I haven't been able to make this really work for music lessons. It's just too like choppy.
Yeah.
So anyway, it worked pretty well, but he did it like once or twice, sent me a video. So the second month I sent him some new content. And then the third month, I sent him some new content. And by the fourth month, like I hadn't heard from him like 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I was
Yeah.
still sending content and still trying to check in, but it felt bad. So after 4 months, I think I just cut. I wasn't getting anything back from the mom. I wasn't getting anything from him. I just felt bad taking the money
Yeah.
at that point, even though I was sending stuff. But that was after 6 weeks or a couple of months of not hearing at all, reaching out. So I would say that would be the case here. If you suddenly just don't see him for weeks and weeks and months on end, then like yeah, I would definitely do that. But if he's still coming once a month, twice a month,
Yeah.
and you're sending some videos in between, it just see how he feels about it. Like I said, just next time he comes, just have a real talk about it. Like see
Okay.
how he is, and if he's fine with it, if he just comes in like it's no big deal and let's do this, like you kind of have your answer already. He seems like he's totally cool with it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So what else is going on? Let's check in on some stuff real quick though. So last month you had 10 students. Where are we
Yeah.
at right now in July?
So it's kind of yeah, I had some that quit,
Yeah.
and then for the summer for yeah, a couple reasons, yeah, like you seen on the Facebook group, going to college and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then I got a couple new ones back, so now I'm down to 9.
Okay.
So I got lower and then built a couple more back up. So
Yeah, that's fine. July, I think, is the hardest month for music lessons.
yeah,
December can be pretty slow too because it's Christmas and it's a short month, and people tend to like take off for December if they can. But people kind of have momentum going into December. I feel like June is a little bit dead, and July is like right before school starts. So I
yeah.
feel like everyone travels. I posted something in the group. It's something like 53% of people travel or have vacations in the month of June. Like
Oh
almost
yeah,
everybody goes on vacation at some point in the month of June. It's just that month. So yeah, July's hard. And our goal is 25. That's what we're still pushing for. But one step back, 2 steps forward. We'll keep it going. But the good news in there is you brought in, what'd you say, 2 new students?
yeah. I think that, yeah, 2,
Yeah.
3, yeah,
So that's good. I mean, the ones that you lost, they graduated. One's going to the military. Like that's not on you. Those are happy students that are leaving
yeah.
and doing some good stuff there. So that's all good. That means that you haven't chased them off. You haven't done anything bad. How long have they been with you?
Years.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's not a loss at all. That's a graduation. They're moving on.
yeah, yeah.
So tell me about the new students. Like, how'd you bring them in? How are they doing? What do they look like?
Well, basically, my really main way I bring people in is from Facebook. Although my ads have died this month. Like I think I did get one this month. Um, but that's one thing I'm a little concerned with. I don't want to just stop ads, but I'm like, I'm spending anywhere from $150 to $200, and I'm not really getting much return.
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
lot to spend. So you're spending 150 to 200. You're pulling in students. How much are they paying a month?
150 a month.
Okay. So I mean, like that's not bad if you know that you can spend 150 and get a student each month. If you can be consistently pulling in a student every
I
month
paid
off of
for it.
that, it pays for it. Then you're moving forward. It's a lot for sure, especially when you've only got a handful of students that you're working with.
Yeah.
But is that consistent?
Did I spend that much?
Yeah. Like have you been on that for a while?
Yeah, it's usually $150 to $200 a
Okay.
month.
How long have you been doing that?
Um, I've been doing that it's been over a year, but I found out that I was kind of doing things a little bit wrong, and I was wasting a lot of money. And
Yeah.
then I went back to some more. It's called Reach Ads. That's one of the Facebook consultants I was talking to told me to do, and I brought it down. But then when I brought it down, I was like, oh, well, maybe I should do this ad also. And I start bringing it back up again by doing additional ads. Like I did just start an ad. I started it and stopped it because it was the money was starting to get a little bit high, the billing. I noticed the in-home lessons I was talking about doing.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed on my vacation, I went to a seafood place, and then in a place called Mystic. It's where they had that movie there, Mystic Pizza, with Julia
Yeah.
Roberts and stuff.
Yeah.
And I realized it's like, wait, here's a ritzy place right here. So I did an ad for in-home lessons for that area, and it basically bombed. And then I was like thinking about keeping it going, but then I was like, I'm just gonna put this on pause for now.
Yeah. Okay. I think what you want to do is just look at look at kind of your total. So you've been doing it for how long would you say you've been doing it like, and it's been good? You said you're wasting money for a little while. How long do you feel like you've got your targeting on? It's been solid.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because it really goes in spurts. Yeah, it's like, around the Christmas area, I'll have a good spurt and then it'll die down. And then just recently going into like around spring area, it picked up and now it's boom, it's down again.
Okay. How many students have you picked up that you can like directly attribute to a Facebook ad?
Yeah, see, I don't know exactly, but this last one, I must have had I don't know, around I think I had six or seven, although a couple of them didn't really pan out. But and then the other thing, I'm not sure. I asked people, they say oh, they see me in the their news feed,
Right.
but then I don't know. Then I ask, oh, was it a news feed or a group? And then they're not sure. So I'm not 100% sure if it's the groups or whether it's the ads themselves or.
Yeah, that was one of the issues we had. We hired a marketer in the spring, and it didn't pan out like I wanted it to. So he was running some Facebook like we've done Facebook ads for years too, but I kind of gave him the campaign thinking, okay, he knows Facebook ads a lot more than we do. So he tried some totally different stuff that we hadn't done before, and we had him for probably 4 months. But the hardest thing was we couldn't attribute anything directly to him. There was, I think, one student that signed up for like $100 group class that I knew for a fact came from his advertising. But the rest of it, it was that kind of thing. Like, yeah, I think we saw you on Facebook, or maybe it was your road signs, or there was 50 different ways that they had seen us, and all the direct leads that I could attribute, the ones that clicked and I could see all their information, they didn't pan out. They weren't good leads, even though we had their information. So that was hard because you want to be able to say, I spent this much and I got this much from it. You want to be direct correlation, and it's just a little bit messy a lot of times because it's just another way that they can hear about you.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you know that I'm spending $150 a month and I can bring in at least one student every month from this, then I would do that all day. That's great, especially if you know that student's going to stick around for, I don't know how long your students stick around, but even if they're going to stick around for 6 months or a year or 3 years or whatever it is, anything longer than a month, the ad's paid for itself.
Yeah.
And you don't really have overhead, right? Like you're teaching out of your home, so you don't have like rent and all that kind of, like you already own all your equipment and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like you don't have a big overhead that you're doing. So yeah, I mean, after a month, it's paid for itself. And if they're going to stick around for at least 3 to 6 months, I would do that all day.
Yeah.
As long as you know for a fact you're getting at least one student from this on average. So it might be you get none this month and then next month you get 2. That would average out over time. But if you can't say for a fact that that's where they're coming from, you may just be throwing, like that's how it felt with us. We probably spent maybe $1,000 over the 4 months, about $250 a month, give or take. I think he was in like the $200 or $300 a month range. And I didn't notice any uptick of what we'd already been doing. Like we're still bringing in students, but it wasn't, I expected him to say, okay, we're already bringing, because we're bringing in like 10 to 15 students a month is kind of our average, a few a week. I expected him to maybe not double that or anything crazy, but at least be able to say, okay, you're bringing in 12, now you're bringing in 16. I'm going to bring you an extra student a week or an extra 2 students a week or something like that. And it just, there wasn't anything marked that I could see where it really upticked at all. And this was going through the spring, which is our busiest time. So we were still bringing in students, but nothing directly attributed to that. So we pulled out, and I didn't notice any loss either. So you might want to do that where you go, okay, if I stop Facebook advertising, do I notice any loss, or, what you've got going on there? So
yeah. I think one thing I gotta do too is I gotta sit down and really work out my system so like I can keep track of that, and then
absolutely
be a little bit more organized with my whole bringing people in, my whole routine, and like some of the stuff that you wrote, and talking about the routines of when you bring someone in, and
your onboarding
process.
Now's the time to do that. So you've got 9 students. It's a little slow right now. You're picking up a couple, but it's July. It's a little slow. Now's the time where you want to go, okay, how do I want to do this? How do I want to lay everything out piece by piece? So we can look at that this morning if you want to. Look at kind of your onboarding process, how you bring them through. We can look at some advertising stuff. We can kind of go whichever direction you want to go. Do you have anything? What seems like it's pressing right now?
There was a second. I did have a couple. It was something you were talking about too, but like one of the things was you were talking about in your the video you sent over to me on the Facebook ad, Facebook page. You said my thing should be 3 lessons for $99. So what I was wondering is, on my website, what I did is I ended up putting I switched to the free studio tour on there. So now I'm wondering whether that's the right thing, or maybe I should be putting 3 lessons for $99 back on there. Yeah.
I think because with you, it's like for us, like we have a studio, we have different teachers, we have a bunch of different rooms. It's kind of like, hey, come in and let us hang out with you for a little bit. For you, I think that 3 for $99 is the same thing. It's basically, hey, come in, try this out for 3 weeks. You can put like, no risk, because it's 3 weeks. Come, and if you hate it, you're out $99. But you've tried guitar and you've tried me. You see how it works. I don't think there's a benefit for having them come out for like a free tour to meet you and do that. I think they're going to get more out of that 3 week for $99. I think get a better feel for who you are, because it's the same for us. Like even when they come for the studio tour, they get kind of a feel for who we are and our person and that kind of thing. But we don't do monthly lessons. We do semester, because I feel like you need to stick it out that long.
Yeah.
To kind of hang with it and get to know us and do that. And I feel like it's the same type of thing here, where they'll go for, one free studio tour and get to meet you. But then they're like, well, I don't know. Let me see. Maybe we'll check the schedules, that kind of stuff. Whereas if you can get them on the schedule, you already know they're going to be a paying student because they've already paid you to be there. They're serious because they're not going to come waste their time and waste their money if they're coming in. And then, you've got 3 weeks to convince them to keep going.
Yeah.
So then you start to develop a program. Like Paul is great with this with the G4 thing. They have that like 5-week intro that they do. It's really good because it gets them going immediately, kind of gives them an assessment of, how they are, what they should work on. But there's like a cliffhanger part of it too, because they have, you've done the G4, looked at it, right?
Yeah. That's basically where I got this from.
And you've got the same thing. I'm doing like checklist type stuff for my studio too. Yeah. There's that checklist, right? And I think you have kind of the same thing, your systems and your awards and stuff that you do.
Yeah.
So at the end of 3 weeks, you go, hey, look, we're here. You've done this, this, and this. We've only got 2 more things, and then you hit your first level.
Yeah.
That's addicting. Like people are they're not gonna want to. Well, that's fine. I'll just leave it hanging. Like no, they're gonna want to come back and finish that, and then you get them to finish that and start on the next thing, and you just keep building stuff that way. So I think 3 weeks gives you the time to get them introduced to it and get them hooked and get them progress. So I would say that I don't know where your levels are, how they work, but make sure your first level is achievable pretty quickly. To get the ball rolling. They don't have to knock out the full thing, but at least making good progress. After 3 weeks, you don't want them to have nothing marked off.
Yeah, I got the first level like really easy. It's like stuff like parts of the guitar, names of the strings, and then a finger warm up, a couple other things, and then some. I use that guitar tab method, Hal
Yeah,
Leonard's.
yeah, that one's great.
I took the first 4 riffs in there, and I put that in there. So then I got little check boxes. So it's really
Yeah.
easy that, yeah, like you said, they can achieve it pretty quickly.
Yeah. So I mean, they can basically knock that out in 3 weeks, probably.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
So that's, I mean, if you can say, hey, look, we knocked out this first thing in 3 weeks, we're ready to go. Like, I think that sells it for you. I think your program's really good. How, from what you've told me, I feel like you over-explain your program to people.
Yeah, I was, and then because we talked about this before, so the last couple times I've been backing off on it, and
Good.
I think it has been good. I don't see like the eyes glazing over anymore or anything. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you just give them enough to kind of give them a taste, and then they get to experience the program instead of just hearing everything about it.
Yeah, and then instead of me going through like Teacher Zone, I'll talk about that in a second, but instead of explaining and going through all that right there in the first lesson, I just show them that, say, oh, this is this cool little thing that we can do, blah blah blah, and then wait till maybe the next lesson that maybe we'll dive into it, and I'll explain a little bit how to use it, so I kind of spread it out so it's not all like overwhelming them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a cool way to do it. Or even at the end of the first lesson with Teacher Zone, you can kind of give them a little taste of it. Like, set up their account for them, like while they're there before they come in for their first lesson, and then say, hey, I'm going to send you a message on Teacher Zone, like in the next day or two, just to check in and see how things are going. And I might send you something else that you can work on real quick. And then just kind of see, like if you set the bar at the first lesson of, hey, this is Teacher Zone, this is how we're going to use it. I'm going to be checking in with you. You can send me messages back and forth. I can send you any help that you need. It kind of sets the bar for that. So they know, oh, this is how it works here. But I think you can do that just as easily at the second lesson to start kind of working in. Yeah, I would kind of tiptoe it into that. Like in a perfect world, I think Teacher Zone is amazing. But people are so busy that I know I can't make 200 people use it in our studio.
Yeah. Yeah, so remind me. I want to talk about that a little bit later, but I don't want to kind of lose the flow here.
Yeah, we'll come back.
So I kind of like. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about that particular thing, or?
No, you're good. Yeah. So keep going.
So that kind of the other thing with the website too is that I took that Rockstar video thing, and I took it off before, and then I decided, well, I'm not getting many people contacting me, so I kind of arranged it back again, put it back up there. So that kind of like leads to the other thing that you were talking about into about my focus of my business, which you thought it should be. I kind of want to talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah, definitely. So I think we're looking at kind of focusing on rock guitar for you because that just seems to be where you are.
Yeah,
it seems to be what you do well and what you. I was doing the same with what's your friend, dude in Miami.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with him, where it's like, dude, this is who you are. I can kind of see, but he never says it. Because like if you get 14-year-old girls wanting to work on Taylor Swift, yeah, sure, you can do that, but you're dead inside. Like you don't. Yeah. That's not what you want to do. That's not your jam at all. Yeah. So I feel like I was just doing his video and I was saying the same stuff to him. I feel like you've got to find those people, and yes, it makes your market smaller because you're going from people that are interested in music to people that are interested in actually taking lessons and learning music to people that are going to take one instrument, guitar, to people that are going to take one genre of guitar.
Yeah.
So much smaller. But, we talked about your goal. You didn't say, I need 300 students. You said, I need 25. That's your goal. I want 25 students. And I feel like you can find 25 people that do this. And kind of in with his – I don't remember if I was talking to you or him because both of you guys are kind of similar which video I was doing. But I feel like your target isn't 12. I think it was your video. Your target isn't like 8-year-old kids and 12-year-old kids. It's you. You're trying to find people like the guy that you're not really loving working with right now. You're trying to find guys dedicated like that, guys in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s that grew up on this rock. You know?
Yeah. So that was one thing I wanted to, yeah, I want to, but one of the things is, I that yes, I want to target that, but I also, I do very well with, younger teens to older teens, 12, 13, or,
So what's your age range that you work really well with?
it's kind of like split that down the middle where, yeah, anywhere from, yes, I have some 8, 9 year olds that are good, that are fine, but maybe, the anywhere from 12 to, usually it's 16, 17, because usually they're 18, 19 or whatever, they're going off to college, so I don't
Yeah.
really get a lot of those. So the younger teens, older teens, and then adults. It's kind of an even split within there,
Yeah.
and then I enjoy them both. I think the only thing about the I'm sure you experienced this too about the adults is, yes, they can kind of be flaky at times, but
They're flaky. You just have to kind of embrace that if you work with adults. It's super rare that you're going to get an adult that just comes in and is insanely focused and does like they do seem like they understand more. Like I feel like kids will come in and not really practice and be like, look, I had baseball or a birthday party and I couldn't really did it, but still expect that they're going to be really good.
oh yeah,
Adults get it. Adults are like, hey, look, man, I had this work thing this week. I didn't get to practice. I get it. We're not going to get very far today. And they almost go too far where I have to go, hey, look, we're still going to move. Like, we're still going to get moving. You're still going to get better. It's just going to be slower. And honestly, I'm fine with that. If you're cool with that, I'm cool with that. We don't have to blaze through this stuff because you're an adult. You have a freaking life. You have all this stuff that you got. This is just something you're trying to add in. We can go at whatever pace that you set. We don't have to go at my pace.
yeah. That's I find a lot often with adults is
Yeah.
I got to do a lot of reassuring because they almost feel like, oh, I should be doing this much better and this. And it's like, no, no, no. They think like as if they're supposed to be able to do so much better than the kids are or something because they're older. And yeah, I got to reassure them.
They feel like they're wasting your time because they feel like,
Yep.
look, I didn't practice an hour every day this week. I'm wasting your time. Like you're not. I love being here and I want to be here and I'm working with you. I'll work with you wherever you are. And they feel like they should be better.
Yep.
But kids kind of feel the same way. They just express it differently.
Yeah.
Like kids just have this like expectation of like, well, I should be a rock star because I've been playing guitar for 3 weeks. Like, no, parents have that same thing. The adults have it, but I think theirs comes across more in just, I don't know. They're just kind of like sad about it, or they're like depressed about it, or they're just kind of ashamed
Yeah.
that they didn't get to like put in the time to do that. So if you can break that down and get to them and be like, look, whatever work you put in is fine. Obviously, this is where we want to be. If you can put in an hour a day or 30 minutes a day or whatever you asked for them, we're going to move, at this pace, and we're going to be able to do this and do really well. But whatever you put in is good. Wherever you like, I'm going to meet you where you are. I think that's a good thing to work with adults, where you say, look, whatever you bring to me, we can work with that, and we're going to go faster and do things, a lot better and smoother if you put in a lot of work. But if you don't, like, I get it. Like, I got stuff too. Like, things get busy. I understand where you're coming from. If you can say that to adults, I think you get a lot more that come through that want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to be actually more because I was in the G4 program. So I was kind of really, really pushy with the, because I still use the practice log from G4, although I made it my own.
Yeah.
And so I have them, and it works good. Just helps me keep track of things week to week. I can kind of check in and stuff. But I used to always be like, oh, no, you're not doing your 5 days, 4 days I would kind of accept. And then I was kind of really pushy with that. And in some ways, I think I was getting better results. But then in other ways, I think I was also losing some students because I was pushing them. So I have kind of adjusted that. In some ways, I'm like, I don't know, am I doing the right thing? But it does feel like I am, because now, yeah, maybe some of my students are not practicing as much, but they seem like they're still enjoying it, and they're coming, and they don't feel as pressured.
I feel like that's it. Because why do you sign up for any music instrument? It's because you want to be able to play. You know, obviously, like I signed up for guitar because I want to be able to play guitar. So if they can play something on guitar, that's a benefit. They couldn't do that before. There's always something underlying too. Like they want to play guitar so that they can be cool, or so they can be confident, or so they can, you know, just have a hobby that makes them feel like they, you know, there's always something that's not guitar. There's a reason that they're there that has nothing to do with guitar or music at all. And you have to dig into what that is. And a lot of times we lose that because we get so focused on the music and the guitar, and because they come in and they say, I want to learn guitar.
Yeah.
Well, cool. If you want to learn guitar, if you really want to be good, if you want to be able to play like me or these other great guys, yeah, you're going to need to spend a few hours every day practicing every day for years to get until you're like really good. But most people really don't want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they really don't want to be you. They just want to be able to like jam out a few riffs and like maybe throw down some solos and just kind of play around at home. That's what they want. Even if they say they want to be you or, you know, be this great thing, they don't. They really, I mean, some of them do, but most of them, they just want to be able to play for fun and just have some stuff that they do. So like Dave Simon's been talking about that stuff a lot with practice and like how we're redoing it. And I do think there was this ability where we go, okay, you have to practice every day. You have to do this. And we beat it into them. And some people respond well to that, but most don't. Most don't. And that's where you run students off. You know, like you said, they would run away because it's not that they can't do it. It's that no one wants to go time and time again and hear that they suck and hear that they're not enough and hear that they're not, because that's the non-musical thing. Music, it is, you have to be this good. Like, did you see that movie Whiplash a few years ago? Movie? Like that one, it was hardcore. There a lot came of it. But honestly, if you want to be the best drummer, which was his goal, not like really, really good or like the best in the state or anything like that. He wants to be like the best jazz drummer ever.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what it looks like. You need someone that's going to like whip your ass like that. Yeah. And like at the end of the movie, I think you kind of saw where he went, okay, I don't need to be the best. But I don't think it looks any other way. You look at Steve Jobs, you look at all these guys. If you want to be that, this is what it looks like. So it's just being honest with students and saying, look, you're going to get what you put in, but I'm going to be here whatever you decide to put in and where you want to be. But yeah, nobody wants to hear every week, yeah, you suck. You didn't put in enough time. You're never going to get good at this if you don't like, why would you keep paying to hear that every week?
Yeah.
That's why people, you know, I don't want to do, like, I've been to gyms and personal trainers that were the same kind of way. Like, dude, I can't believe you had Burger King this week. You can never eat that again if you're ever going to do this. Like, bro, it was like one time and I was like super busy and this, like, I don't care. You can't do that if you're like, cool, this isn't going to work. You just need like, you need someone that's human. That's not just a machine that you're bumping up against. So I think if you can do that, you're going to be good. Here's something to think about for adults. Your location, like where you are you your city versus where people work? Do people work like all around you, or are you kind of like, are you like a travel location where like people are here, but then people drive to work in a city somewhere else?
Yeah, they drive to somewhere else because, I'm in the middle of the country.
Yeah. So I was going to say something to consider if you've got people that work around you, and like you might anyway, would be lunch lessons. We've got some people that have done that stuff where they basically come in during lunch or they take their late lunch break or something like that. And that way they don't have to come like after work when they're tired. They just go, I'm just going to skip my lunch break on Tuesday and I'll come and do a guitar lesson.
Yeah, I'm definitely not in a good location for that.
Pretty far away for that.
Yeah, I'm out in the boonies.
So if that's not your market, when you're looking at adults, you might be looking at like retirees, because that's the awesome thing. Like when I was a kid, retirees were old. Like 60 was just freaking old. But 60 now is people that grew up in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're not looking at people that were listening to like 1920s like jazz stuff. Like you're looking at people that grew up on Zeppelin as higher. So I think that you can actually start probably marketing to retirees, like people that are, because people are retiring earlier too. There's people retiring at 50, 55.
Yeah.
So I think that you can start looking for those types of people that are out there that, you know, might have availability during the day or that kind of thing. But I think that's something I haven't seen in your advertising. So you said, look, I work really well with kids 12 to 17 and adults. And if you put that out, there was someone in the group asking this week about special ed stuff. Like she teaches like students with disabilities.
Yeah.
And I've talked to her before. She's fantastic. Like 75% of her studio is like some kind of disabled stuff. Should she market towards that? Or should she try to still say that she's inclusive and has all these other things? And I was telling her, I'll tell you the same. I think you should market towards rock students. And you can broaden that a little bit. It doesn't have to be like just rock, but that general style. And then I think you should market specifically towards teenagers and adults, 12 to 17 and to adults. You're still going to get kids. There's still going to be moms that go, hey, my 9-year-old's really interested. Would you work with him? And then you get to decide.
Yeah.
You can go like, I think it makes it even better because then you can say, look, I normally start at around 12 because I just work really well with that age group, but every kid's different. So let me meet with your kid. And if it's like a really focused, awesome 9-year-old, yeah. If it's a kid that's like bouncing off the walls and going nuts, probably not. But you get to make that decision, and you always almost make them earn it.
Yeah.
And it feels like an honor to be in your program because he doesn't really take people till 12. So if you get these kids, then it's like a better thing. But I think the good thing with targeting is that you start to like bring out specific people. So if you see it in your marketing, we'll do this sometimes. We'll say, hey, we're looking for a girl ages 11 through 14 that really loves pop music, but is maybe kind of shy and hasn't found her thing. Like we'll just call out these characteristics. And that there's moms scrolling through Facebook that goes, that's my kid. That's my kid. Like, This is what she needs. That's what you want. You want to find that. Like, so you're looking for like this 14-year-old kid that's trying to find his thing and just plays video games all the time. And like, it's time to have something to get away from that. And his mom's like, for the love of God, I need to get him like away from video games and give him something constructive, even if that's a freaking car. Let me put something else in his hand that's not a video game controller. Whatever it is, just start thinking about your students. Start thinking about your best students. This is a good exercise. I don't remember if I was doing this with you or someone else this month. But to look at your students, the 9 or so that you have right now. Write down the attributes of them.
Mm-hmm.
What are they? Are they hardworking? Are they fun? Are they like whatever they are? Just write down every like adjective that you can think of about each kid.
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's some common traits through these people that you're working with, adults and teens alike, where you go, oh man, so I work really well with, people that are focused, but still like to like have fun, that like this type of music, maybe list their favorite bands or favorite artists. You can ask them to.
Yeah.
But start to like really see. And the best way to do that is to just go student by student and just list some stuff about each one. And then just go through and circle or color code it. Like, okay, red is like every time someone says that they love this, and then you go, oh, I got a bunch of red through here. So this is a common trait that I would do well with. I was listening to one of the audiobooks I was listening to when I was walking this week. And he was talking about self-promotion, but it works the same way here. He said there's a lot of traits about yourself that you don't realize because you just think of yourself as you. And like that was one of my issues with the Studio Challenge when we got it going. A lot of the stuff that I'm doing is just really natural for me because it's my personality. This is just the way that I approach things. But I realize that not a lot of other people approach things, especially musicians, don't approach things the way that I do. My mind just thinks differently. So what seems really obvious to you is mind-blowing to other people. And you miss the stuff about yourself that you don't really see. And I think it's the same thing with students in front of you. You don't really see what makes them special, what makes them unique, because you're just used to them. Those are your students. Those are people that you see every week. But really look at those attributes, and then that gives you something to market. So where you're not just saying, hey, I teach guitar. Come take guitar. You're saying, I'm looking for these types of kids because I work really well with these. And then show videos, put pictures up of these kids, that type of thing.
So you think I should probably do like say ads for both, targeting both for one for say teens and one for adults.
Yeah, because I think that's a different market. I think with adults, you can be a little more realistic about it, where you're talking about like, look, I know life is busy. I'm here to work with you and do this. Or you can call back to, because you're looking at people that grew up in the 60s and 70s and 80s when you're talking about adults. So you can almost like lament with them. Like, do you remember these days? Like, do you remember how awesome music was in the 70s and 80s? Me too. Let's do this. Like, because that's what they want. They want that. So you're looking for those people that just really miss that. Or call out, start even like bands of today, but call out specific artists,
Yeah.
specific stuff like, do you love this and this and this and this and this, these guys? Then we need to talk.
Yeah.
Send me a message. Get really specific instead of just guitar lessons. Um,
So how about like on my website, should I kind of try and like on the front page do something where I have like I don't know, like a couple of buttons or something that maybe one leads to like a page it's kind of like focused on more teens, and another one to a page that's more focused on adults maybe, or
you can, and what I would do is I would set them up basically as landing pages from your Facebook ads and from your Facebook stuff, to where you can click on it and it sends you over to that directly instead of just sending. I see this a ton. It's becoming one of my really big pet peeves when you just have like a learn more thing and you click on the button and it just dumps you on the homepage. Then
oh
I
yeah.
go to the homepage and then I've got to look around and see all this stuff. Like I saw one this week about camps. They were like, Rock Band camps, sign up, it's great, go to this and learn more. Click, and I wind up on your homepage and I don't see anything about Rock Band camps. I've got
Oh
to
yeah,
look
yeah.
around and try to find it. So if you're advertising lessons for teens, don't dump me on your homepage. Dump me on your teen page.
Yeah.
And here's all the information about how it works. Here's pictures of teenagers. Here's videos of teenagers. Here's teenagers giving reviews. Here's parents of teenagers giving reviews. All of that. So everything's targeted towards that thing. So think of it as a landing page. And then whether you actually have it on your website that people can click through or not, that's up to you. You can go either way with that.
Yeah. That's how, yeah, I was just thinking of it offhand. I know we didn't want to go crazy like it was before, having like all kinds of stuff, but I was thinking, yeah, maybe it might be a good idea to have a button that for each, for, not just for both, like maybe for the teen. I don't know how I'd title it, but, for the teens and the adults, so I can steer them towards a little bit of direction to where they would be more relevant to them, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's definitely worth some like looking into. I
Yeah.
can't say for sure like this is going to work, this is going to like bomb, but I think it's definitely worth considering,
Yeah.
looking into it and seeing how it goes. Because right now it's very general. Everything's just guitar. Everything's kind of lumped in. Um, I'm slightly concerned in general for you because I know you're not in LA. You're not in like this huge town where you have a huge market. So
Yeah.
whenever you have a slightly smaller town that you're working in, and then you start narrowing that market, it gets a little bit dicey. But I do. There's 25 people in your town that want what you have. I
Yeah.
feel like that's like they're there, right? And there's more than 25. So
Yeah.
it's that when we do that we look at here and there's a bunch of music schools around here. There's one that has probably over 1,000 students. That's really similar to what we do. They're actually like similar, and then they do it better in a
Yeah.
lot of in the musical sides of it. And I was really worried because they've got 4 locations. They keep opening up all over the place. I was worried. You know what? This place is big enough for all of us. Like it really is. It's not like there's enough for like the McDonald's and Burger Kings and Wendy's and Rally's and all the other like fast food places.
Yeah.
There's enough. It's fine. Like you're not going to run it out. So I think you're going to have enough students. And I think you're going to do better when you get really specific. So real quick, the students that you've lost over the last, year or two, and not the ones that have graduated, but the ones that have just said, hey, I'm going to take some time off. Were those like your ideal students? Were they teenagers and adults? Were they working on rock music? Were they?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, I would have to say. Yeah, it'd probably be the ones that were. No, they weren't my ideal ones. Probably the ones that were less focused on rock. Like the Taylor ones and the Taylor Swifts and the kind of the other styles, and then the usual ones that come in that think they want to learn guitar, but they
I think
realize.
kids are flakier too. Like if you get a lot of like 12 and under coming, those are the flakiest ones because they want to do guitar and then they want to do soccer and they want to do this. When you get teens and adults, they want to do it. They understand it's going to take a little bit of time to do it, and they're in it. They're not just going to bounce to the next thing real quick. For the most part, they're going to stick around. But I think if you have, if it's kids that were bouncing, and it's people that were not working on your genre that you love working with. I think part of it is they just weren't a good fit for kind of where you were. But I think there's some subconscious stuff in there too, where like you just probably don't teach them as well, don't work with them as well because you don't like it as much as you do the other stuff, and they can kind of sense it. So it's not like you were purposefully trying to chase them off. But I think since you don't love it as much as you love the other stuff, it kind of turns off those students, or they're not as intrigued to stick around as the ones that you do. So I think you're not losing anything by targeting, because those aren't really sticking around for you anyway. And then you might, target and get really specific and go, you know what, like I really miss having some blues students or some like country students, and then you can target those. You can either broaden your marketing or you can kind of go into something else. But for now, I think doing what you love is going to be the way to go. We just got maybe a few minutes left here. So is there anything else to look at? I've got a couple of things I want to look at in the consult notes. But anything else you want to hit?
Well, I was going to just say something quick about the teacher zone, but if you had something else you want to discuss instead, that's cool.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, let's do the teacher zone, and then I'll jump into the other stuff.
Well, the only thing I was just gonna say about that really is I think I might be steering away from that. It's good. I like the format and everything. And, it looks good and everything. But my students either not, a lot of them don't log in, or they log in and they, some students are totally fine with figuring out how to do things, but I often get either students or parents contacting me, getting confused on where they're supposed to go. They click on this and that, even though I made videos for them.
Yeah.
And it's not like intuitive where you log in, they can just automatically find things, and I've been getting just a lot of complaints. So what I've been doing, which I just discovered, it's not as pretty, but the three people I tested on so far likes it better, is actually in my music staff. Mm-hmm. You can go into the repertoire section, and I discovered you can do that. Turn it to there's a little thing you can put in like notes, like the lesson notes. You can put it in HTML mode, and you can embed videos in there.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So I started making some little lessons in there. I'm not just going to use it for repertoire, but for anything with videos. I've embedded videos in there, making lessons with that. And then I like it, because I use those lesson notes. Like, that's a big, huge part of my lessons. I do graphs on them and everything, and then I send them to them. My students love that. When I'm doing that, which is kind of cool, is up on top in the repertoire section, I can click on it. I can assign whatever lessons right on there, right there within it while I'm doing my notes. And then I can also, there's another button where I can click on stuff that I assigned them before. And as we finish it, I can check them off so that they can be marked as complete. So on their side, they can search stuff in progress or completed.
Yeah.
And so far, it seems like the flow is easy for me, and all three of them so far said they like it better because it's simple.
That's awesome. So, I mean, that'll save you some good money, not having to pay for the teacher zone thing.
Yeah.
Pod over at my music staff, they're good. I've been using it for maybe a year and a half at this point, and they keep adding features. They're making stuff better and better as they go. They're pretty good with like working in new stuff, and they're very aware of the teacher zone thing coming in. So I think if you can like send them a message or send my music staff a message, like, hey, look, I've been using Teacher Zone and I'm not loving it. I just love what you guys are doing more, but I really wish you had these features. I wish I could do this and this and this. This is why I looked over at them in the first place. I think they'll start working. They're probably have already got this stuff in development. But I think that can go a long way in doing that. Teacher Zone, and I think Chris and Tyler would say the same thing. You have to be all in. You have to love it. You have to be 100% in. You have to believe in the program. It's like any new diet or any new business thing or any new system that you buy into. If you're not 100% in it, it's not going to work. And then they're going to be able to look at it and say, well, Don, it didn't work because you didn't get all your students in it and you didn't do this and you didn't. They're going to say you didn't buy into the system. So it's not working. And I think that's what it comes down to. If you're not 100, that's why I haven't done it yet, because I love what they're doing, but it seems like they're still working out some bugs. And I'm just not 100% sold on it yet. I'm close. I mean, I like it. I'm probably like 60, 70% of like, I really love the community that they're doing with it and having to do all the lesson stuff. But I know I'm not 100%. And if I'm not 100%, I can't get my students to be 100% yet.
Yeah, that was my struggle is, and I keep going back and forth and everything because, yeah, I love the look of it. It looks really nice, and I like the chat features, and there's so much stuff on there, but there's still, like you said, little bugs or things here and there that I just really struggle to get by, because, like you said, I'm not 100% into it. Then I think it's time for me to move for now. Maybe check it out again, in 6 months, a year from now again, maybe.
You've done the same with G4, where you jumped in and you said, look, there's some really cool stuff here, and I'm going to take the stuff that's really cool, and I'm going to move on and do my own thing because I didn't buy in 100%. It's that.
Yeah.
Paul
is bad or anything, but.
Oh, yeah. And, like, Paul is killing it because he's 100% in on G4.
Yeah.
They completely embrace it. He doesn't do anything in his studio that isn't 100% G4 right now. And he's killing it because he bought into that system, and he's going nuts on it. So you just have to work it that way. So I think you're probably, you know where you're feeling with that. So I think you're probably on the right track with that. How are you feeling this month in general?
Decent. Yeah. I'll just quickly tell you were asking in the beginning. I did go to a meeting for the dog training thing.
Yeah.
It was a volunteer place, and I was really impressed with it because they do a lot of really focusing on, it's not shelters. They have like a whole compound that has these almost like bunch of these like little houses where they try to train the dogs within these areas so they can get used to being in houses, and we can train them within those environments instead of kennels or just dogs barking, going crazy, and then some bunch of other things they're talking about trying to make it so instead of them having to go to the kennel, they try to have trainers go to the houses and see if they can get them to not get rid of the dogs, and I was really impressed. So I went to their little meeting, and then and they have their I forgot they call it, some kind of dog training school there. Yeah. And then that's what I signed up for, and now I'm waiting for them to who was ever in charge of that section to contact me back. And I like it because I'll get some free training. I'll be able to get step it up more, and
that's really cool. That's the way to go, because right now, like your guitar business is like you're getting it going, like it's doing its thing, but there's a lot of pressure on you to like make that happen. And you have other interests. Most people do too. So you've got this other interest. So to say like, look, I just need to like kill this while this other thing's on the side, and you have the free time right now. Honestly, like the consulting stuff I'm doing is part of that too. Like it's taken some of the pressure off of our studio. Like our studio's doing well, but it's been able to take pressure off and go, look, we're making a little bit from this helps. And I'm able to be a little bit more free in the studio because there's not like so much pressure on it all the time. I think you can get this dog stuff going, whatever that is, whether you're walking dogs or training dogs or working at a kennel or you do the vet tech thing or whatever you want to do. If you can do that, a couple of days a week, a few hours a day, whatever you want to do, I think it takes pressure off of the guitar thing and probably helps you come back and love it more. Because right now you're just stressed and you're freaking out about it. And I totally understand where you're coming from. Dogs are the opposite of that. Like dogs are cool, man. Like,
oh yeah,
they're just gonna make you. There's bad stuff when you go into working in kennels and stuff too, but for the most part, you're gonna come out feeling better than when you went in.
Yeah.
All day. So I think you need some of that in your life, and I think if you can make some money from it, I think that'll take pressure off the other thing. I think your guitar business is going to be more successful, not less, if you've got this going on.
Yeah.
So I'd encourage you to go for it. We talked a little bit last month. I wouldn't like kill this. I wouldn't like let this guitar thing die.
I always want to give lessons. Yeah.
But if this needs to be, we're definitely at an age like our grandparents. My grandfather worked for Monsanto before it was like an evil corporation for like 40 years, got his gold watch, retired. That doesn't exist anymore. Like
Yeah.
that kind of thing just isn't out there. Even working one job, I think, is fading out a lot quicker too. It's a lot more of this kind of stuff where people have 2, 3, 4 things that they're doing, and each one brings a little bit of an income. Each one brings a little bit of joy because we've got different aspects of who we are and what we like to do.
Yeah.
We're definitely in an age where your hobbies can very much become your job too. Where before it was like, go to work, do your thing, and then come home, and then you can do whatever you want to do. Now
Yeah.
it's much more like, what do I love? I can make a little money on that as well. So I think this is it. You don't just have to do like the dog thing is like, well, I'll just volunteer, once a week and that'll be my thing. Dude, you can make some money with this, You can do a thing there. And the dog training, walking, whatever you're gonna do, that whole thing, it's pretty similar to what we're doing. It's a similar thing. You're
Yeah,
bringing yeah.
as I was totally thinking is that, yeah, like, with the dog, dog walking probably would be more during the day type of thing, but the dog training, once I feel I'm ready, I can kind of like squeeze that in amongst the kind of same hours in a way with the actual lessons and stuff. I can kind of, when I have spaces open, I could go do a dog training appointment or something.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So looking through your note stuff, you had your main focus this month is like maybe doing some AdWords campaigns to bring in new students. I don't think that's really your focus. I think we're maybe looking at more of like target marketing type of stuff. So like AdWords might be an extension of that. So I would say maybe that, like target marketing.
Yeah, I did actually start a AdWords campaign based on like some videos I seen, and I didn't do so good because there's only been like I think $3 and something charged in one click. So maybe I'm gonna set that aside.
But the same way, if you're just throwing stuff out there but you don't know who your market is yet, it's not gonna do as well. But I think if you can start targeting that stuff a little bit better, but do that for free first. Don't start buying advertising. But start doing stuff on your Facebook page, start putting stuff in the community groups, start putting stuff on your website. Like do the free stuff that you can to do that target marketing and kind of test it. See if people are buying it, see if people are interested, and then you can start really like spend some money on Facebook and that kind of stuff if you want to do it.
So what about the Facebook? Do you think should I just maybe try pausing it for a little bit just to see if my free marketing is working?
Yeah, I'd say so. I would pause it right now. And I would focus on making your Facebook page that.
Yeah.
So because it is, you're just not saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody playing Taylor Swift on your page. I didn't see anybody playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I saw a bunch of rock. But you're not saying it. So say it. And just do that because, that's a good way for you to kind of do it for free. Share it in the community groups up there. Share it on your own page. Have your friends share it. Start to kind of spread the word. Dude, try to be like the rock guitar place where you are and kind of put yourself out there that way. Okay, so what's been some successes this month? What's been going really well?
Really, what's been going well, I guess, really, is only on my side of I've been kind of just trying to keep up with, putting stuff on my Facebook page and work on my website a little bit. Haven't had a real lot of students, so that side hasn't been going that great.
No, that's fine. Yeah. So those have been going well. What's your struggles?
My what?
What's your struggles? What you've been struggling with this month?
Struggles have been, of course, bringing in the students, trying to, getting motivated into actually, working on different things, like I gotta getting the stuff, get my systems going, and just working on projects and stuff.
Yeah, I feel you. Next month, what do you want to look
at? Next month, not really sure.
So what we'll do, we kind of worked on your targeting, so we're going to check in on your targeting stuff.
Yeah.
So get that stuff out there. When does school start where you are?
I think somewhere end of August, I think, very end of
Okay.
August.
So start your back to school advertising right now, but we're going to check on that too.
Yeah.
Because, next time we check in, it'll be, right before school starts. So now's the time to start putting that out there as much as you can. So next time we check in, it'll probably be a couple of weeks before school starts. So that's when you're going to pick up students.
Oh yeah, I was also thinking. You mentioned this before. Maybe doing like now putting something up for maybe, even though I wasn't sure about doing this, but doing the guitar teams like a real group type of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Because you see it kind of through it. Like I can kind of see that you might have something there, but you never really talk about it. You never really talk about what it is. So, I mean, I definitely think you could do more with your guitar teams because it's cool, man. Like, I really like what you got going on there. We just don't see a lot of it. Okay, so there's a place for patron notes on there as well. I was just working on that little July box on page 2.
Okay.
So you can fill some stuff out there if you want to. Just stuff thinking about for the next thing. And then what I'm trying to do now is set up our next consult date instead of coming at you halfway through the month like, hey, how about this week? I'm trying to just get those set up at the end of each consult so we can kind of plan for it next month. Do you know what August looks like for you?
Not right off, but basically, I gotta find out when that dog training stuff is when I volunteer. But
Yeah.
basically, kind of this time, any day except for Mondays is usually pretty good around this time, not this specific time. But
So maybe, do you want to check in the 13th? I think is I'm out the first couple of weeks. So we got the week of the 13th, the week of the 20th, and the week of the 27th. Those are the Mondays. Which one do you want to meet more towards the beginning of the month, like the 13th? Or you want to wait towards the end of the month, what do you feel?
Yeah, so be any day except for Mondays.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just talking about the weeks.
Yeah, any of the weeks. I mean, the week of the 13th is fine.
Okay. Do you want to maybe do Tuesday the 14th at, what time is it, 9:30 we met?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
Yeah.
So we'll do Tuesday, August 14th at 9:30. Let me just double check real quick. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. All right. So I will see you then. We've got the mastermind thing on Monday, which I think you said Mondays aren't really good for you. But if you're free this Monday, we've got that big mastermind session where we all do a big group chat.
Yeah, I'll be volunteering then, unfortunately.
I think the next one's on a Tuesday, in August. I'm still trying to jump around and try and hit as many people as we can. But anyway, let me know if you need anything. You know where to find me.
Cool.
Keep it going.
All right. Thanks a lot, Shane.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Yep.